GM everybody, it's Blake here. As always, none of this is financial advice. This video is designed to help you get prepared for this week's trading and also give you some insights into how I'm playing this market. This week, we're going to kick it off with the NASDAQ because it's been showing relative strength. So we have the higher time frame, the weekly time frame pulled up here in a weekly time frame, and this is just a 10 and a 50 simple moving average cloud that I have shaded here. So you can see, really these past 5 weeks, bear flagging below a declining 10 and 50 week moving average. However, if we pull up the 200 week moving average, which if you go back in time is a very important moving average, we didn't even touch it during the COVID lows, back in 2018 Brexit, didn't touch it either. And now, once again, we're getting close to this 200 week moving average. So in my opinion, yeah, this is a really tough spot. We need to see price hold these levels and ideally back above this weekly candle's high. But if we break below last week's low, I think there's a pretty high odds probability that we maybe come down and test these lows and maybe tag this 200 week moving average. So let's go ahead and pull up the daily time frame, see what we're working with. We'll get rid of this 200-day moving average and we'll clean this up a little bit. So we have the QQQ. Once again, it's leading the market right now, so it's showing relative strength. The QQQ is getting really close. The NASDAQ is getting really close to its 50-day moving average, which is the top of this cloud, along with the descending wedge pattern that we're seeing play out. Pattern of higher lows and obviously lower highs. If we break above the July 8th high, which was 296.75, above the 50-day moving average, above a previous candle's high, I think that puts the odds in our favor to maybe come up and fill some of these gaps and tag some of these fib extensions that I have laid out here. So keep a close eye on this. Now, you guys know I've been bearish for quite some time, and still my macro thesis is bearish. But can we have a nice uptrend that pays us? Absolutely. We're extremely oversold. We have a lot of fear in this market. So I'm going to do the same thing that we always do, and that's get long in uptrends. So on Friday, we had rules to technically get long. We closed a no trend inside of the cloud above the 10 SMA. So that was a positive sign. The next thing that we need to see is we need to see price back above, the cloud, and eventually this pivot high above 296.75, like I mentioned. I think we see a very high odds trade for some continued momentum. Now, on the flip side, if we break below Thursday's low, then once again, just like we saw in the weekly time frame, that was last week's low. We break below that, high odds we come back and at least test this low that we put in on July 16th and probably lower. Okay, so two scenarios there. Either can play out. The way that I'm playing this is getting long in uptrend, and if we see price strength confirmation above this 296.75, yeah, I'm going to add, and we'll see what pops up on the playbook as well. So that's how I'm playing this. Wanted to focus a little bit more on the QQQ and the NASDAQ this week because that's what's showing relative strength, and we look for relative strength and we trade the uptrend. So that's what our focus will be. Let's talk about SPY. You can see it is lagging, not quite as close to that 50-day moving average. You've seen I've drawn a longer-term trend line for the SPY. Very important trend line. Once again, aligning with this 50-day moving average. We'll see what plays out. So we're going to see what this market brings this week. My focus is going to be focused on tech because it's showing relative strength. And yeah, speaking of technology, let's talk about some Web3 and some blockchain. Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin, you can see I still have this 22,000 area in here, still not there. Ethereum is showing relative strength versus Bitcoin. Now, you'll see I have back in right here on, July 14th. This was a little joke. I did get back in, so to speak, from some stables back into Ethereum because we were on a Twitter space and we were joking about this trend line. So, yeah, I wanted to have a little fun, made a post on Twitter. back above the 1270 pivot, which I was talking about. So as long as we can stay above this, cloud and stay above this pivot, I'll stay long Ethereum. And similar to the market, I think if you break the July 12th low, yeah, I think that's some bad news, and we're probably going much lower. So keep an open mind for Ethereum. Let's take a look at gold real quick. What's gold telling us? Yeah, broke a longer term uptrend line. Commodities are just getting destroyed. The dollar strengthening. Lots of macro things going on there. Don't want to get too far into the weeds, but I do want to wrap it up with how we're going to play this week. So like I said, we're going to be focused on tech. If the NASDAQ gets above Friday's high, that would be an uptrend. And you would have a high odds to maybe come and test this. And if we close above this, you guys know I'm going to be pressing long with the NQ and with potentially TQQQ or maybe some options. So I'm going to be playing the long side like we always do, playing the uptrend. Until then, don't get chopped up in this wedge, right? You know your trades. So above Friday's high, you have uptrend. Above the July 8th high, you have a really high odds trade to press. Break below last week's low, things don't look so good, and now we're talking about new lows instead of being long in an uptrend. So keep an open mind, and we're going to have to play it however the market comes to us this week. But that's what we're looking for, and those are the levels that I'm paying very close attention to. See you guys on the open.